Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamisha, your occupational therapy coach. So today we're going to talk about 10 practical strategies on how you can manage testing anxiety or tester's anxiety. All right. If you're interested and you're like, yeah, I need to know how I can overcome this issue on test day, then I suggest you stay tuned. All right, guys, so let's jump into these 10 strategies. All right. So, the first thing I would tell you is you want to visualize your success. All right. Anxiety, right, is a sense of worry and it's also an emotion. And emotions can be changed. So, what you need to do is you need to substitute that worry for something else. All right. And in order to substitute that worry, you need to think about the end point or the goal point versus thinking of what you feel might happen later. Okay. So you want to think about what you want to achieve, not what you don't want to achieve. So the first thing is you want to visualize success. You want to actually visualize seeing the pass, okay, email. You want to visualize yourself feeling good after leaving the testing site. You want to visualize yourself waking up feeling confident before you go and take your exam. Okay. So the next thing is don't panic, right? If you if you encounter an unfamiliar condition, be resourceful, right? And select the most logical answer. I think this is one of the biggest problems is people freak out when they see something they're not sure about. And you have to get into your mind, it's okay. You're probably going to see things you're not quite sure about. But this is where your critical thinking, this is where logical thinking comes in place. Don't freak out, be resourceful, and then start to tack off the things that you know out of the four answer choices that this one definitely can't be it. And narrow yourself down and go with your gut, right? Don't assume anything. Go with your gut. Read the question as is. Don't assume anything. All right. Now, the third tip is don't let other people's success of passing or failing, right, influence your perspective of the exam. You are your own person, right? What may have worked for that person might not work for you. So this is being very careful when you're going on social media, like platforms like Facebook, and you're in groups where people are saying, man, I failed 7 times, man, I failed 5 times. I'm so upset, and this exam is rigged, da 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 da. Or you see people that said, I passed my first time with a 550. Okay. Everybody's different. So don't feed into that. Don't do it to yourself. You're going to regret it. Don't do it. All right. Number four, focus on one thing at a time and try not to get overwhelmed. One of the biggest problems that is caused from anxiety is that you're focusing on too many things. So you want to have a strategy. You want to have a strategy. In my course, I teach different kind of strategies because everybody is different and everybody learns different. You might have a mnemonic strategy. You might have an acronym strategy. There's something I teach that I teach in the course called a thought approach. You might have a strategy called a flexion straight. Again, this is something I teach in the course. But you might have your own strategy on how you come about the answer, right? Make sure you focus on what the question is asking you. Focus on that one thing. Or if you're studying information, focus on, let's say you're focusing on mental health. You're focusing then on pediatrics, but don't jump around. Don't get yourself all over the place. Have a structured plan, and it's going to help you to combat that anxiety that oftentimes likes to creep up on test day. All right. So, number five, praise yourself for every little achievement, right? If you're doing an exam and you're taking like 10 practice questions, and let's say the first time you took it, let's say you got 6 out of 10 correct. Be happy that you didn't get 5 out of 10 correct. Be happy with the 6. Don't beat yourself up and say, okay, at least I know 6 of these out of the 10. How can I now know 8 out of the 10? How can I now know 10 out of the 10? All right. So you see how you are constantly providing yourself with positive reinforcement, positivity, right? Will always combat anxiety. All right, the next thing, number 6, is to avoid and minimize studying with peers who may make more anxiety for you or stress you out. The worst thing you can do is decide to get into a study group with somebody that has more anxiety than you. They're just going to stress you out and cause more anxiety. So pick your study members wisely. And if you feel like studying with somebody is just not a smart move, then don't do it. Don't feel pressured to study with somebody just because they asked you to. All right? Okay. Number 7, stick with your study plan and do not go on independent research projects for certain topics that may take up too much of your time. This goes back to having a strategy. Stick with your study plan, guys. My course is a study guide, right? It isn't a course format, but at the end of the day, it's a guide. It's meant to guide your learning. That is all it is. I am working on rebranding the course where the study guide would no longer be necessary just be a guide, but it's actually going to be a course with me doing videos and training you and providing you with strategies and tips. It's going to be fabulous, guys. More information about that to come later on. But stick with your study plan. Don't deviate from it. Don't go and start doing independent research and now you have all this information and you're overwhelming yourself, right? All right. Number 8, maintain a positive attitude. Even if you do not do well on practice exams or improve your scores, all right? The worst thing you can do is base your future outcome on today's current exam, right? So if you're taking a practice exam, let's say it's from NBCOT practice exam, and let's say you failed on that exam, you did not get over 450. That does not necessarily mean that when you go and you take the actual exam, you're going to fail. Just know that that is letting you know that, there's going to be need for improvement and that let it be that. Let it only be that. Okay. Need for improvement. Okay. Let me go back to the drawing board. Let me look at what domains that aren't the highest and let me focus in and dial in on that. Okay. All right. Number 9, schedule enough time to arrive early at the test center. Early is okay, right? It's better to arrive early than to arrive late or to be rushing. That is going to increase your anxiety tenfold, okay? And we don't want that. So go to the testing site around the time that you're planning on going the day before. So if you know you're planning to go to the testing site at 8 o'clock in the morning, then you should do a test drive at 8 o'clock in the morning so you have a feel for traffic, so you have a feel for the route. So when you are going there the day of, you're not thinking about it. Okay? And the 10th thing, and most important out of all of these, is to breathe. Yes, breathing is good for you. Breathe. It's necessary. All right? So go ahead, take these 10 practical strategies with you. And I know you'll be successful and I know you will be able to overcome testing anxiety. All right, guys, if you're liking my content and you want to see more style information like this, please go ahead, leave me a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. All right, there's plenty of information down below. Go ahead and download one of my free resources. If you are interested in working with me, definitely go ahead, studywithakota.com. Check me out. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.